Hello, this is Dr. Douglas Graham, here to speak with you today about the 80-10-10 Culinary Skills Professional Program. I don't know who's going to emerge as the next hot 80-10-10 chef, but likely it's going to be someone who comes through our 80-10-10 Culinary Skills Training Programs. We offer Culinary Skills Week, and it's followed by Culinary Skills Professional Training, a 2-week course with hands-on, in the kitchen, making food for live people at a real event every day with professional chef Alicia Ojeda at your side, and our special guest, Chef Katie Crane, who's been helping me with the creation of the Simply Delicious ebook series and is our head chef at a variety of food and sport events. Along with me, they will present the Culinary Skills Professional Program to a select group of graduates from Culinary Skills Week. Before I tell you about the Culinary Skills Professional Program, I'd like to ask you if you know why you're here, or are you just here out of curiosity? If you have specific reasons to be here, we're offering a short poll. We'd love you to answer the questions on the poll so that I can help to guide the direction of this presentation to better suit your reasons for being here. And we'll even tell you in a few minutes the results of that poll. So please, take a moment, answer our questions about why are you here, and I can help to guide the presentation directly towards your reasons for coming. As part of the Culinary Skills Professional Program, and for all of the webinars describing the various food and sport events, I'd like to take a few minutes to offer an educational portion so that you can better understand the value of the types of things we'll be learning when you go through the program. We look at as many different aspects of food and its presentation as we possibly can. Not just nutrition, not just knife skills, not just diet, not just knowing more about food, but also how to present it and how to make it taste the way that you hope it will taste in order to fully please the senses of anyone and everyone who eats your food. So tonight, I want to talk a little bit about being the chef at a large-scale event, and what are some of the considerations that you might have to make in order for that to be a success, rather than falling on your face and just going, I can't do it, which is something that I have seen happen as well. And that's never a good thing for the people eating the food or for the people making the food. How do you even begin to tackle an 80-10-10 event that's going to be for 100 people or 1,000 people, or, as I'm sure will happen in future, 10,000 people and more? I was asked to give a Christmas dinner for 100 people. And make it as fancy as I wish. There was no budget even discussed. Just make a nice meal. We made a 12-course meal. All of it was simply delicious. Each dish was comprised of 1 to a maximum of 5 ingredients. Food combining guidelines fully respected. And in fact, no one in the group was a raw food eater. They were all from the mainstream, and I knew this coming in, and yet had to create food for them that would fit their needs and their eating style. It was quite a challenge, and knowing that I was going to do this several months in advance helped a lot in the planning, because I actually could do the planning. So that when the event came off, not only did it go off flawlessly, I'm glad to say, but the organization of the event was relatively simple. It took 4 people 10 hours each to make the entire meal from start to finish. So 40 people served 100 people. It means that per person, we were only working about 20 or 25 minutes per person from start to finish, including cleanup. All the serving of the meal, everything all happened in one day from start to finish. That works well for a one-off party. But what if you're doing an event that's going to last for a week? What if you're doing an event that's going to last for a month? Or is going to happen over and over and over? There's a lot of considerations, and the best way, I believe, is to plan, plan, plan. Okay, well, how do I plan for a large-scale event? There are many considerations that you have to consider, take into account, provide for, including having an A plan, a B plan, and a C plan in case things don't go the way you want them to. They don't always. I've been planning a rather major 80-10-10 event. It was going to revolve around figs. Our figs were coming from Spain. Some of the best figs I get all year long come in from Spain, and this year they've been coming in just divine. I get ready to place my fig order, and I'm told by my food distributor that they've had a heat wave in Spain a few weeks ago. All the figs have fallen from the trees. There are no Spanish figs available any longer. This year, Spanish figs are over. Hopefully, we had a B plan. We need to know who's eating. Who is it that you're making food for? Are you going to make food for people who are experienced eating 80-10-10 or people who are coming in from the mainstream? Because for sure, it makes a difference. Are you going to be serving athletes or computer geeks? It makes a difference. Not that you can't be both, but it makes a difference. Are you going to be serving mostly guys, or is the audience all gals? It makes a difference in you deciding what you're going to serve. We need to know who's eating. People who are new to 80-10-10, they just eat less food than people who've put in a few years eating 80-10-10. And how do I count the amount of food that people eat? Well, I'm basically looking at how many calories do they consume. I want to know, because an athletic crowd, they eat more food, sometimes as much as double on average the amount of food. If I was making food for the month of the Tour de France, and I was making the food for all the athletes, it would help tremendously in my planning to know that while the average spectator at the Tour de France is eating about 2,000 calories a day, the average participant is eating more than 10,000 calories per day. And if I made my food based on spectators rather than on participants' consumption levels, I'd only be making a fifth as much as they actually needed. The budget, the number of staff, the amount of time, everything would be off. You need to know who you're serving the food for before you can even start planning the food itself. The average guy these days is about 180 pounds, the average gal about 120. Guys are on average 50% larger than gals. Men eat more food. Guys are bigger. Often they're more active, usually more muscular, and they eat approximately 50% more food than women on average. And when you're planning an event, it's important to know who the event is for. If you want to have enough food, because it's particularly not good when the food is nowhere near enough. Okay, it's a compliment to the chef if all the food gets eaten, but if all the food gets eaten and people are still clamoring for more, this is not a compliment to the chef. The chef did not plan properly. There is a tremendous number of considerations, of course, but knowing who you're serving is one of the big ones. Before you start planning the menu, before you start planning each course and the recipes and the ingredients, before you find where is this stuff going to come from, when do I buy it, how long in advance am I going to have to buy it in order for it to be ripe on the day that I intend to serve it? How much wastage will there be? How much time will it take to prep each course? How many people do I need in order to make sure that everything gets done without it being stressful? What type of ambiance do I want to create? What colors are going to predominate? What shapes on my plate? How am I going to present the food? What type of wait staff? The considerations go on and on. The music, the furniture, the welcome. There's a lot of details. But first, you gotta know who you're serving it to. As the lead, you've got to ask yourself, are you good with people? Because if you're not good with people, bad things can happen in your kitchen. Even a raw kitchen functions essentially like a pressure cooker when you get stressed, when there's a lot of production being done in a short period of time. Even a raw kitchen, things can get pretty hot. If you're not great with people, consider that becoming a raw food chef, and especially a professional or a chef that might want to be an executive chef or putting on big events, is going to require developing your people skills, your ability to lead others, your ability to interact in a calm, effective manner that leaves people wanting to follow you, which means you have to lead by example in both your effort, your words, and your actions, as well as your intentions. Develop those people skills, and you'll have a staff that will do anything for you. If they have to do a little extra, they'll do it. If they need to do something they've never done, if you show them, they'll do it. People skills are as big a part, if not bigger, than food skills and knife skills and all the other skills that are required, absolutely required, in order to become an executive chef. I was at a raw food event some years back, and there were a variety of chefs showcasing their skills during the course of a week. Each of the chefs had a day that they could make various meals. One of the chefs was making dinner, and things weren't going exactly the way she wanted. There was some frustration, there were some delays, there was mounting tension. Not everybody on her staff understood her or was particularly talented. She was supposed to work with them. Turns out the chef got frustrated to the point of exploding. She started yelling, and people working for her started making mistakes. She started ranting, and things in the kitchen got worse. There were people who felt they didn't need to stay, it wasn't that important, they didn't need to be abused. And after the ranting came the raving. The head chef literally started throwing knives. We didn't lock her up in a straitjacket, but we did have to remove her from the kitchen and from the event. It was a reputation that she developed as a result of that one experience that ended her career in the raw food movement. Develop your people skills. They'll take you far. People will do anything for you if you're good with them. If you're not sure what it is about your people skills that need to develop, ask people. They'll tell you. At the same time, you need to know your vendors. You need to know who's going to be bringing you fantastic food and who's going to be bringing you food that's unreliable. We used to have a vendor at our Cedar Woolly events who brought us something like what we see in the photo. 1 cube of watermelon. 1 cube of watermelon is a lot of watermelon, although obviously here there's a lot more. But 1 cube of watermelon, weighing in at roughly 1,000 pounds, is a lot of watermelon. And what they brought us was all bad. I don't know that it was intentional, and I don't know if they knew. But when we got it, and it was all bad, it left us in a very awkward situation of not having watermelon to serve later the same day. Melon after melon, opened it and it was bad, absolutely rotten. We had to call the vendor, express our concern, wait for a day, and we had an option. Never use the vendor again, or use our best people skills, create a friend, which is what we chose to do. And to this day, for the last 10 years, we have received nothing but the best of the best from that food distributor. They've brought us the highest quality, organic, raw food to all of our Cedar Woolly events. We could have lost them forever, and instead we've made a very close friend. You have to know your vendors and likely educate your vendors. Good chance, educate your vendors, because if you don't educate them, then they're not going to really understand or know what you want. The chances are that by eating 80-10-10 for some time and becoming a chef with 80-10-10, you've learned more about the food that you eat, more about fruits and vegetables, than most of the food vendors even know. They may know some variety names that you don't, and hopefully you'll learn those too. But you know about taste and texture. You know what it is you want. And by being able to describe that, it makes a big difference to your vendor. If you say you want mangoes, and they bring you mangoes that are stringy or taste of turpentine, you're not going to be too happy, even if they look good. If you tell them you want figs, and they bring you figs that have been powdered in preservatives, you're not going to be very happy. There's all types of food problems that could be brought to you without the vendor even meaning for it to be a problem. They have no idea the attention to detail that you pay compared to what they do. I mean, for them, it's just a commodity. They just pass it on. You're bringing it to the consumer, and at that point, it really matters. So make friends with your vendors. Know them by name. Get them on your speed dial. Let them know who you are, so that when the time comes that you need to place special orders, you can do so. When all is said and done, and you're thinking about putting on an event, we have to know who's coming, about how much each person is going to eat, and then order the food by the calories. Not by weight, not by volume, not by cost. Although cost is always a concern. You have to order your calories, because people that eat 3,000 calories a day are going to eat 3,000 calories with you, or slightly more. at an event. People who eat 2,000 calories a day are going to eat 2,000 calories a day with you, or slightly more at an event. They might be a bit more wasteful depending upon the way you organize your event. Eventually, depending on the size of your order, you're going to have to be able to break your food down by calorie and know how many calories in a pallet of watermelon, how many calories in a case of peaches, how many calories in a case of bananas, how many calories in a case of lettuce, and on through all the food you're serving. At that point, it becomes child's play to create a meal plan for one person, multiply times the number of people that you're making the food for, and you're well on your way, as long as you provide a sufficient number of calories. Providing sufficient volume is important, but volume won't fill somebody up. You can't fill somebody up on just lettuce. They're going to be hungry, especially if they're there for more than one meal, nor would you want to serve just lettuce. So know the number of calories. Learn how many calories in food, and then you can start to understand how many calories per bite. Granted, everybody takes a different size bite, but nonetheless, calories per bite, so that you can start to assess how many bites are you going to serve, how much volume is a person going to have to eat in order to get enough calories. As we've all experienced, it's easy to make a meal of bananas that will hold you for 5 or 6 or 7 hours, but it's hard to do the same thing with watermelon, to eat a meal that will hold you for 5 or 6 or 7 hours, because there's nowhere near as many calories per bite. You have to eat a lot more volume to get enough calories from watermelon to hold you for a long period of time. Develop your personal interaction skills. Know who you're serving. Know who's supplying your food, and make sure that you educate them about the food that you're hoping they're going to bring you. And then create your meal plan based on the amount of calories you intend to serve and your order of food by the number of calories that you need to have. This will help you become a successful meal planner, no matter how many people you're serving. Some people want to attend the Culinary Skills Professional Program so that they can be a chef at events. Some already have their own catering business. Many want to run retreats. Some want to start a raw food business. I already know several who are planning to attend this year's Culinary Skills Professional because they want to do one-on-one work with various clients. And I've talked to one man who's planning to come because he wants to make exquisite food for himself and his family. He hasn't been able to interest his family in 80-10-10 yet by just saying, hey, do you want to eat a banana? They said no. But by making brilliant food for them, he hopes to influence his own family towards eating more 80-10-10 fare and less, if none, of other foods. I'm not sure why you wish to come to Culinary Skills Professional, but Kevin is going to give us the results of the poll now.
Hi, Dr. Graham. We have a three-way tie, actually. 33% are here with the idea of trying to run retreats. Another 33% are here because they want to start a raw food business of some other sort. And the other 33 are just here for the information.
Fantastic. Well, we'll certainly cover all of those needs during the remainder of this webinar. As we have at the beginning, I think we covered the biggest part, in our lesson. But let's look at what's left. There's tremendous benefits to attending the Culinary Skills Professional. If you want to make caloronutrient calculations comfortably, doing the math easily, understanding the programs that will do it for you, the CSP course will make this easy. We explain it fully. If you want to understand food combining in and out, down to the nitty-gritty details, the theory and the application, we'll show you at Culinary Skills Professional. Flavor balancing is an important part of all meal creation that most home chefs don't even know exists. They don't understand that salty and sour and bitter and sweet interact with each other with fifth and sixth senses that are affected by the ambiance, the presentation, the plating of the food. All of these things affect flavor, including your eyes, ears, and nose, let alone texture of the food, all affect your sense of flavor and flavor balancing. And we'll show you how to fully grasp these concepts in Culinary Skills Professional. We'll give you personalized training in small groups when we're in a group, and the rest of the time one-on-one to make sure that we meet your needs. Culinary Skills Professional program fills with 4 attendees, although we can take 6. But there will not be more. There will be 4 to 6 individuals being coached by 3 or 4 individuals. You're going to get a lot of custom one-on-one time, although sometimes also working in a group. You're going to develop your knife skills and your skills with tools to a level that is really unimaginable from before to after. You have to experience it. And of course, you'll gain a knowledge of how to create a boundless variety of flavors, seasonings, and recipes that will be endless and open up doors of creativity that will never close. You know that the Culinary Skills Professional program is for you if you want to make a career serving 80-10-10 cuisine, if you want to make a quantum leap in your own skills as a chef, and if you want to master 80-10-10 food prep and food management. Our retreat center is in Sedro-Woolley, Washington. And quite honestly, I've not been anywhere that would function as a better center for the Culinary Skills Professional program, because it's going to be running in parallel with other Sedro-Woolley events. The CSP program will give you the opportunity to make breakfast, lunch, and dinner for people attending other food and sport events. Meaning that not only will you have classroom time with Chef Alicia, but you'll have kitchen time with her as well. And you get to see the theory and the practical each day, as each day becomes a little more demanding and the volume of food consumed rises each day. So your productivity will grow in parallel with the amount of food being consumed as a group of professional chefs create greater quantities of food each day, meaning you get a little more efficient and a little more effective every day. And you get to watch that happen naturally and automatically in a perfect setting. In September, the weather tends to be better than any month of the year in northern Washington or northwest Washington. We're set in a beautiful spot with eagles in the sky and elk walking the grounds and salmon running up the creek in the back garden. Walk into the woods, the creek is right there, you can watch salmon swimming, pick blackberries to your heart's content, and have a nature experience that's truly unmatchable. The facility is beautiful, but the setting is even better. The river is wonderful. We all enjoy swimming in it. The sunsets are spectacular, and the mornings are beyond description, with mist rising in the morning and just beautiful sunrise, bird song. It's just a lovely setting. I couldn't imagine better. Of course, we want you to be comfortable, whether you're lounging in the living room or relaxing in your own private space. We want you to be comfortable and provide high quality, new everything in order for you to make sure that your experience, both working and relaxing, is as good as it can possibly be. And you will make food and enjoy the food. I don't know how to tell you how delicious 80-10-10 cuisine can be. But if you want to learn from the best in order to make the best, this is the place. Culinary Skills Professional Program. Bring your food skills to the highest possible level. Create foods themed from any country, from any ethnicity, or your own design, and do so with confidence. Make beautiful food that's equally as delicious as it is beautiful. Make art out of your food and your food presentation, and learn to create dishes that will satisfy the senses while creating satiation for the consumers. What is it about an 80-10-10 meal that can be unsatisfactory? And what is it that makes the meal as satiating as you could ever want it to be? We'll go through the various parameters and considerations for what makes food satiating to make sure that everything served is of the highest quality and you develop the personal chefing skills that are only available at our Culinary Skills Professional Program. From entrees to desserts, from hors d'oeuvres to the main course, every step of the way, we want you to understand how to make food delicious from the first time a person sees it, delicious to their eyes, delicious to their tastes, that sits well and nourishes them, digests well, and is easy on the body. Katie Crane and Alicia Ojeda have a wealth of experience to share with you. Chef Alicia is classically trained with a breadth and depth of professional experience that I've rarely met in or out of 80-10-10 raw food and healthful living arenas. Chef Alicia used to make breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 14,000 people. Katie Crane has been our head chef at many 80-10-10 events, including 2 full months of daily food at our Costa Rica retreats. And she's co-authoring with me the 80-10-10 Simply Delicious Recipe Book E-Series. If you haven't checked out the Simply Delicious e-books, please do so right away. You're missing something fantastic. The Culinary Skills Professional Program will give you hands-on practice, mind-to-mind direction, one-on-one guidance, so that you develop a repertoire of new recipes and core 80-10-10 cuisine concepts, an unlimited number of new kitchen skills, a greater appreciation and understanding of how to create awe-inspiring dishes, plates, and meals. Development and mastery of the kitchen and staff management skills, the people skills that will allow you to work with larger teams more successfully and with people who want to follow you. You'll bring home a knowledge of how to construct customized meal plans for events of every size. Culinary Skills Professional is a 2-week program from the 14th of September to the 28th. And costs $4,997. This is a gift. This is a gift. It includes housing, food, all your education, all your coursework for an incredible experience that is only going to be open to 4 to 6 individuals. Several people have already registered for Culinary Skills Professional. There's only a few spots left open this year. We encourage you to register for this year, and if you can't register for this year, register soon for next year because people are already expressing interest. Reserve your spot with a deposit at foodandsport.com/retreats. There are only a few spots remaining. We're offering some special packages. Some people might want to do the Culinary Skills Professional and still take advantage of our special packages, such as Banana Island and Food and Lifestyle Success Package. You save $500. The Transformation Package, Women's Physique Week plus Banana Island, save $800. And our Complete Lifestyle Package for women, 80-10-10 Food and Lifestyle plus Women's Physique Week plus Banana Island, where you can make a savings of more than $1,400. If you're interested in any of these, or you'd like to mix and match any of the events, know that we'll give you the best value possible and make the events as affordable as we possibly can. We offer special discounts, and you still get great savings on multiple retreats of your choice. You can save 10% by coming to 2 retreats, 15 coming to 3, 20% on 4 more retreats. We'll offer you the best deals. If you bring a friend, you can both save 10%. Reserve your spots with a deposit at foodandsport.com/retreats. And if there's something that I didn't cover, or you thought of a question after the webinar, just contact Food and Sport. We'll be happy to provide you answers to your questions. If you're interested in events, just ask us about them. Write to events@foodandsport.com or call 1-877-811-4569, which just happens to be 811 for joy. And if you're still with us to this point in the webinar, you're obviously serious about creating your health, your skills, your fitness, your vitality. You're interested in Culinary Skills Professional. If you pay your deposit on 1 or more retreats within the next 24 hours, that's until Sunday, June 22 at midnight Pacific time, you can take an extra $500 off the price of this program or your entire order. If it's 80-10-10 Food and Lifestyle 3-day retreat, it's $200 off. But for anything else, $500 off your entire order on top of whatever other discounts we're offering. Now, this offer can't be combined with other coupons or special offers, but it does combine with our retreats offer of 1 person, 2 retreats, 10% plus $500, 2 people at 1 retreat, 10% and $500 off. We want this to work for you. We want the fast action discount to work for you. And if there's anything you aren't sure about what I just covered, check your email. We've just sent you all this information, all the details in an email. All you have to do is just check for it now. It's already in your inbox. If you're interested, take fast action, receive the maximum discount. It's the best offer we provide. For me, I'm never going to miss a Food and Sport event because I love attending them. I enjoy being there. I enjoy making new friends and meeting my old friends, and developing the sense of family amongst those following 80-10-10 and those teaching 80-10-10. Food and Sport events, for me, are the most work I do during the course of any year, and the most fun I have. The bottom line for you is that attending a Food and Sport event, going to a Food and Sport 80-10-10 retreat, will change your life in ways you never imagined. Your relationship with others, your relationship with food, and your relationship with yourself will improve. Find a way to make it happen. You won't be anything but happy about your decision. Just come. I promise you won't regret it. Reserve your spot with a deposit. foodandsport.com/retreats. Now, some of you may have asked questions, and if you have any questions, we're going to spend a few minutes with those of you interested in attending Culinary Skills Professional. Kevin, do we have any questions, or was I just that clear?
Well, we do have a couple questions, Dr. Graham. The first one comes from Vincent, and he wants to know whether a certificate or will some other form of validation be presented at the end of Culinary Skills Professional?
Yes, this is a certificate program. We will provide a certificate of attendance. This does not provide you with licensure of any kind. It is not a license seminar or retreat, but it is one that we will provide certification that you have attended.
Thank you. The next question comes from Alejandra, and she wants to know whether work exchange options are available for this retreat.
Yes, we do offer work exchange options for this retreat. I believe there are 2 openings remaining for work exchange. For anyone interested in attending for the entire 2 weeks, and I believe there's already 1 person who's going to come for 3 weeks. They can come the week before for work exchange and stay for those 2. It's a tremendous educational experience that I highly recommend to do work exchange for those 2 weeks. And you do learn almost as much as the chefs learn.
Thank you, Dr. Graham. And the next question here is from Timothy, and he wants to know whether there will be any fitness options available during the retreat. I know it's a culinary skills retreat, but he's wondering, I guess, if he gets to have a chance to work out with you.
Well, that's a good question. Typically, the chefs doing culinary skills professional are really busy. They're really busy, and they're really busy in the kitchen. And when they're not in the kitchen, they're in the classroom with Chef Alicia so that they can plan and learn the skills required for the next part of the program, the next day of the program. But our chefs are human beings, and we need our human beings to be healthy and happy about putting time into the kitchen. And so the answer is yes. There is time to train every day. There's not as much time to train as perhaps some people want, that you could train for hours on end before breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But typically, for the chef's training program, some of the chefs attend the first workout of the day, some the before breakfast, some attend the before lunch, and sometimes they split or mix or change it up. I've seen some of the chefs make it to 2 of the workouts in a day, but they can't always guarantee it. It depends on how well they can get their work done within the kitchen and how they choose to schedule their time, which jobs they wish to share. But the answer is definitely yes. We wouldn't want chefs cooped up in a kitchen for 2 weeks, never getting out to be active with us. It's half the fun and a lot of making the family is getting time to play together.
Thank you for the answer. And I have a correction on the question I asked before from Alejandra. She's also wondering if the offer for the discount is available for the work exchange as well.
Well, the work exchange program runs at half price already, and so on top of that, there are not subsequent discounts. The discounts are simply for being registered attendees at the event. The work exchange people typically pay half, but then get to participate as well in as much of the event as the chefs or their jobs allow them to have. And so commonly we say that a work exchange is going to be attending roughly 2/3 of the event while working 1/3 of the event, but only paying half price. So it essentially works out that we're paying you roughly $35 to $40 per hour of your work time in order to get the discount. So there's no way to couple discounts with that. No.
Thank you for the explanation. And that about wraps up the questions.
That's fantastic. I hope you enjoyed the presentation for Culinary Skills Professional. There will be future webinars, including one on Presenting Excellence, a program to be run immediately before the Woodstock Fruit Festival in the same area of upstate New York. For anyone who has a YouTube channel, who's doing 80-10-10 and finding themselves talking about it with other people, or people who are actually doing presentations or educating or teaching classes or basically talking, we'll show you how to present excellently and improve the quality, the reception you get, and the people who are listening to you will become more affected when you present with excellence. There will be other webinars for our fasting programs, for the walking tour in Costa Rica, and other events as we run them. And I look forward to meeting you at future food and sport events and welcoming you into the food and sport family. Thank you once again. This is Dr. Doug Graham, reminding everyone to
All clear.
You still there? How come I can't stop broadcast?